President Barack Obama has enlisted a commission that is supposedly working on the task of cutting our national debt and deficit. The idea is to find tax breaks to eliminate and find trillions in spending cuts. The only problem is that it will be 30 years before we see a balanced budget.
The Commission misses the entire point of creating a balanced budget.
In fact, we could have our credit rating lowered as early as 2018. Americans for Limited Government's Rick Manning says this will have major impact.
That would mean massive increased expenditures for interest payments and make it almost impossible to dig our way out. We simply have to deal with the budget now.
Also, remember, no one can predict the future. In the next 3 decades, there could be costly wars ahead or perhaps another economic meltdown.
Project 30 years forward, and it's impossible for any of us to know what's going on. What we do know is 30 years from now is too late to create a balanced budget. We need to move towards a balanced budget immediately, and to delay any decisions until 30 years from now is absurd.
30 years truly is a long time. This could seem much longer if Americans are spending that time in cutback mode. To illustrate how long 30 years is, just think of what life was like 30 years ago today. Video games were different in 1980.
You've got things like asteroids and stuff where you shot a little line across and you blew up a square. So it was really very rudimentary, nothing like what we see today.
Cars were different in 1980.
When you press the gas pedal down with cars in 1980, the cars went, and they went fast, unlike today's models, which are have the carburation all covered by computers, and you're not able to even work on your car, let alone open the hood and figure out what the heck's going on.
Our president back then, Jimmy Carter, already unpopular, made himself even more unpopular by boycotting the Olympics.
He boycotted the Olympics in 1980, sacrificing the careers and dreams of American athletes on the altar of trying to punish the Russians for being in Afghanistan. Ironically, 30 years later, we're in Afghanistan. A lot of things have changed in 30 years, but one thing we know is somebody's in Afghanistan.
And it may seem strange, but we were all rocked when boxer Roberto Duran said no mas during his super fight with Sugar Ray Leonard.
We need Roberto Duran right now to say no mas to this deficit.
Frank McCaffrey, Americans for Limited Government.